skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, 100% reason to remember the name. He doesn't need his name up in lights, he just wants to be heard, whether it's the beat of the mic. He feels so unlike everybody else, alone, in spite of the fact that some people still think that they know. But no, he knows the code. It's not about the salary, it's all about reality and making some noise, making a story, making sure his click stays up. That means when he puts it down, Tuck's picking it up. Let's go.
Who the hell is he anyway? He never really talks much, never concerned with status, but still leaving him starstruck. Humble through opportunities given despite the fact that many misjudge him because he makes a living from writing raps. Put it together himself, got a picture connects, never asking for someone's help or to get some respect. He's only focused on what he wrote, his will is beyond reach, and now it all unfolds, the skill of an artist.
This is 20% skill, 80% beer, be 100% clear, cause Ryu was ill. Who would've thought he'd be the one that set the West in flames? And I heard him wreck it with the crystal method, name of the game. Came back, dropped Megadeth, took him to church. I like Bleach, man. Ryu had the stupidest verse, this dude is the truth. Now every
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Callingwood. We are in Rink B, the green ring, tonight. Team's just about set here. Wearing the light colors tonight will be MLAC Lenbeth Weeping Towel. On the right, wearing the darks, the nice Royal Reds there, will be our CAC United Sport and Cycle. They'll be going right to left when we start to play here. We're going to pause for the national anthem. Oh. All right, folks, welcome to Callingwood. We have the 15-9 CAC United Sport and Cycle taking on the 5 and 16 MLAC Lenbeth Weeping in Tile. MLAC wearing the lights, CAC wearing the darks. Puck picked up by MLAC. They take it into the Canadian zone. Number 3 has it chopped off his stick by number 4 by Ollie West. Takes that into the Leaf zone. Leafs get it back behind their own net and move it over to the near side. That's cut off on the near boards by the Canadians. Coming away with it. West hands that off to Frosty. Frostad gets that up to Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson loses control of the puck in the Leaf zone and comes out to center. Duff it. Duffs that back in to the Leaf zone. Rolls over to the far corner. Put up the far boards. It's going to come out to the neutral zone. Knocked down by Yamniak. Yamniak over to Eagle. Eagle has Morris open on the left side. Walking it in. Looking to feed that to Sharkey. Feeds it up high. And the save there by Balanag. And we get a stop with 19:02 left in the first period. Face-off will be near side in the Leaf zone. Leafs win it. Swing it around the boards to the far side. Poked out by number 9, Mitchell. Canadians pick it up. Stump back in the Leaf zone, and Smith is going to take that. Touch the puck, but he is caught offside and make it a whistle with 18:49 left in the first period. Off the draw, the puck is dumped into the Canadian zone, picked up on the far side by the Leafs. They take it into the boards. Canadians jump on it right away. Zare's going to loosen that up, gets it behind to Morris. Morris flips it up to the near side. That's knocked down by Smith. Smith chasing up Morris. Morris keeps control of the puck. Gets it up to Sharkey. Sharkey chips that into the Leaf zone, but it's ended up being an icing call with 18:24 left in the first period. Face-off will be far side in the Canadian zone. Canadians chop it down the ice, coming up the right side, thrown in front by Hoare, but that was knocked down by the Leafs. Goes through the side again, bounces off the nearer boards. Leafs picking it up. Leafs get control behind their net. Put it in the near side, lost control. Here's Ulrich with it. Keeps the zone for the Canadians. It's going to roll to the far corner. Check that. A delayed offside indicated here. Canadians have to touch up. Leafs get a chance to clear the zone. They send it to the far boards. That's thrown into the Canadian zone where Ulrich knocks it down. Has trouble with the bouncing puck. Leafs jump on it. On the back check, Richard takes that puck away. Up to Turcotte. Turcotte uses boards to get that into the neutral zone where the Leafs take it away. Leafs dumps that into the Canadian zone. Black sets that up behind the net. Has to move it quickly as, let's see here, number 2, Feng, was jumping up on the play. Leafs get the puck out to the neutral zone. Zidinskis tries to put that down low. That was blocked by the Canadians. Thrown on towards the net. Comes in the near side. Checking a shot. Black is going to slide over and take the near side away and gets the stop with 16:53 left in the first period. Face off near side in the Canadian zone. Canadians win it, duff it, slides that over to Frostad. Frostad, far side, connects with Schufeld. Schufeld knocks it back to Frostad. Frostad, far side for Schufeld. Schufeld looking for the centering pass. That's knocked down by number 15 and kept in the zone. Centering pass picked up by the Leafs. Canadians get it back. Frostad rushing up the ice. Couldn't get around the last defense. Puck's dropped in the Canadian zone. Leafs holding the zone. A king back to the point, but holding it in was Toblinski. And the puck ends up out of play. We got a whistle with 15:22 left in the first period. Looks like we got the camera back there. Slight error with the program. It just closed on itself. You know how computers can do that. Puck's dropped, far side in the Canadian zone. Canadians win it. Eagle trying to pull off the boards. MLAC gets it back. Throws that into the slot. That's broken up by Morris on the right side. And Bauer Black had to be quick moving over to his blocker side, absorbing that shot in the chest and hanging on with 15:13 left in the first period. Draw will be once again far side in the Canadian zone. Leafs put that back to the point, knocked down by the Canadians, thrown out to the near side. Hoare's going to catch up to it. Hoare coming up the left wing, centering pass broken up by the Leafs number 11, McQuestion. Leafs put the puck out to the neutral zone. Picked up by Mitchell, dumps that into the Canadian zone. Black sets that up for Morris. Morris hangs onto it. Now moves up in the air side for Hoare. Centering pass for Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson chops that up, comes in the left wing. Tries to make the inside move. That's broken up by the Leafs. Put up the near boards. Canadians, for the moment, keep the zone and put the puck behind the Leafs net. Leafs use the boards, get it out to center. It's a 2-on-1 back the other way. Coming up the far side, there's a rip. And Black makes the save with 14:20 left in the first period. Leafs breaking out of their zone quickly, coming up the left wing and ripping one, trying to go short side, but the Canadians goaltender standing strong. Face-off will be far side in the Canadian zone. Leafs get the puck, take it into the corner. Centering pass broken up by Zahara. He's going to put that off the glass for Sharkey. Sharkey rushing it up the left wing. Gets across center, makes the inside move. It's chopped off his stick, followed up by Ulrich. Leafs Feng comes away with it. Near side, chips that into the Canadian zone, follows it up, but caught on the offside call. 13:57 left in the first period. No score on the board. We're going to have a draw just outside of the Canadian zone. Sarah wins that cleanly for United Sport and Cycle. Ulrich, far side for Turcotte. Turcotte's pass at center, knocked down, but the Canadians get it back. Sent to the right side by Yamniak. Yamniak trying to rush it into the zone. He's caught, but the puck goes loose into the far corner. Leafs quickly move it over to the near side. Centering pass. That's broken up in the zone by Zahara. Picks up the puck, goes towards the net. He's going to go behind it. Throws it into the slot. It's between the Canadians. Ulrich holds the line, sends it to the far side. That's picked up by number 8, Zinzilaos. Zinzilos. Pardon me. I've been practicing. Here come the Leafs out to center with it. Puck broken up. Turcotte ends up with it in his own zone. Quickly up to Richard. Richard makes the inside move. Taken down by Anderson. And the first penalty of the game is going to go against the Leafs. Anderson, 2 minutes in the box for tripping. Penalty called with 13:06 left in the first period. Draw will be near side in the Leaf zone. Canadians win it at the point. Frostad, far side for Hoare. Back to Frostad. Left side, looking for Thorvaldson. Skips down to Dollywall. Dollywall has that back to Thorvaldson. Down to Dollywall. Right side to Hoare. Back to the point, Frostad. That hit a stick is going to end up out of play. And we'll get a whistle with 12:47 left in the first period. This will bring the draw to the far side in the Leafs zone. Leafs going to change out their D pair, I believe. Oh, no, forward pair. And Canadians 142 left in their power play. Leafs win the draw in their own zone. They put it off the glass and it bounced out to center. Frostad with it for the Canadians. Goes to the far side, shakes around. Number 16, Sunley, gets it into the leave zone. Put that down low for Dollywall. Dollywall leaves that for Hoare to pick up. Hoare in the far corner. Back to the point for Frostad, and it bounces off his stick out to the neutral zone. Canadians have to tag up. Thorvaldson connects with Hoare. Hoare, left side for Zahara, coming in with speed. He's bumped to the outside. Leaves take away the puck, put it down the ice. Black sets it up for Eagle. 1 minute to go in the power play. Eagle coming out of the zone. Right side for Yamniak. Yamniak harder on the boards. Looking for Richard on the near side. Canadians keep it in the zone. Back to the point for Eagle. Eagle shot blocked. Comes out for, or up high for Yamniak in the slot. Moves it to Morris. Down low. Richard tries to take it towards the net. He's knocked down. Yamniak picks it up on the far corner, keeping possession for the Canadians. Hands that back to the point for Eagle. Oh, and Richard almost put that in on the tip. Near side. And I think that was Hoare who just put that wide. Oh, Morris, sorry, just put that wide. Eagle up to Morris. Centering pass for Yamniak. Gets that to Eagle. Richard dumps that into the leave zone. That's going to do it for the Canadians power play. Leafs back to full strength. There's a shot by Eagle and a quick one just over the glove side of the Leafs goaltender, and the Canadians, after pulling the momentum from the power play, carry it over into even strength and put it into the back of the net, taking a 1-0 lead with 11:02 to go in your first period. Ready to go at center again. Puck dumped in the leave zone. Thorvaldson gets the puck, sends it to the right side to West. West comes into the zone. Tried to move that back through the slot to Thorvaldson, but hit a stick and ends up out of play with 10:33 to go in the first period. Canadians keep the momentum of the power play. Seconds after the Leafs get their man back on the ice, the Canadians score. And they hang on to a 1-0 lead halfway through the first. Canadians put the puck down low in the Leafs zone. Tried to come up high. That's swept off his stick. Put up the near side. Ooh. Thorvaldson missed the check, and he went into the boards hard. Puck pops out in the slot on the near side. Black covers the far post. Puck still available for the Leafs to have it in the corner. That shot hit a stick and ended up hitting the rafters, going out of play with 10:04 to go in the first period. Draw will be far side in the Canadian zone. Leafs with a shot wide. Bounces off the boards to the near side where Sharkey picks it up. Throws that up the middle. Rolls or knocked down at center by Penny. Penny near side. Centering pass from number 8 goes through everybody into the Canadian zone. Canadians move it up the far boards. Leafs get a hold of it. Here they come through center. Smith dumps that in the far side. Comes off the end boards, and Black's going to come behind the net and cover it up. Whistle stops with a 9:33 left, or the clock stops with a 9:33 left in the first period. Leafs win the draw, take it into that far corner, cycle to the near side, throws that in front, there's the shot, and it's up and into the top of the net. The Leafs even up the game with 9:22 left in the first period. We're tied at 1. Just a sharp pass into the slot. And MLAC makes good to even up the score. Canadians with the puck in their own zone. Eagle, far side to West. West dumps that into the Leafs zone. Leafs move it up the near side. Cut down at center by Morris and dumped back into the Lenbeth Weeping Towel zone. Here come the Leafs up the near side. Kept in the zone by Staggy. Puck turned over. Here's Eagle, left side for West. West shot. That's blocked, but he picks up the rebound. Fang finds the loose puck, starts to rush it out for the Leafs. Pass to the near side. Smith chips that into the zone. Fang finds the loose puck, centers that. That's broken up by Richard. Richard off the near boards. Kept in by Anderson at the point. Fang centers that. That hits the stick. West picks up the loose puck for the Leafs and rolls it into, picks it up for the Canadians, rolls it into the Leafs zone. Morris picks it up at the blue line. Tried to dump it in, but it hit a man. Second attempt, though, gets it in. Knocked down by Dollywall. Couldn't make it all the way towards the net. Leafs in transition. Here they come up the nearest side. Fang dumps that into the Leafs zone. Canadians get it back. Here's Morris. Pass up to Dollywall. Dollywall chips it up, goes to retrieve it himself. Then he's taken into the near boards. Battled for it near side in the Leafs zone. Puck comes loose. Picked up. Backhand shot by Dollywall. Schufeld put that just past the far post. Leafs pick it up, get out to the neutral zone. Knocked down by Turcotte. Turcotte fires that into the Leafs bench to get a whistle with 7:23 left in the first period. Puck rolls into the Leafs zone. Leafs get it back. Hard off the boards, far side. That's going to be cut off by Ulrich. Near side for Turcotte. Turcotte flips that into the neutral zone. Leafs come away with it. Penny with a shot. Black with the save, and he sends that out of play. And we're going to stop with 7:59 left in the first period. Canadians move the puck to the near side in their own zone. Core puts it off the boards for West. West tries to chip it up to Throveton, ends up getting the puck back, throws it on the net, and the Leafs goaltender is going to cover that up. Balanok saw enough pressure coming and covers it up with 6:38 left in the first period. Oh, a shot from the point by Frosted. And Balanok was screened, and it becomes a 2-1 game for the Canadians. Just a rifle from the point. Great net presence by the Canadians to take away the eyes of the Leafs goaltender and regain the lead with 6:32 to go in the first period. Leafs with the puck in their own zone. Knocked down with a high stick, so the whistle goes with 6:23 to go in the first period. We'll have the face-off near side, just outside of the Leaf zone. Inside the Leaf zone, check that. It'll be blocker side of Grace Balanek. Thorolson wins it, takes it towards the net. That's chopped off his stick, put into the near boards. Canadians keep hold of it. Now it comes loose. Leafs are going to fire that down the ice. We'll have an icing call here, but the Leafs momentarily relieve the pressure. 6:08 to go in the first period. It's 2-1 for the Canadians. Draw will be near side in the Leaf zone. Canadians win it at the point. It's chopped past Morris. Centered. Come over to the near side is Veenstra. Takes that into the corner, chips it down low, throws that in front, gets past Block's glove, back to the point, held in by number 8, flipped over the near side. Veenstra falling and takes the shot. That's wide of the mark. Fired. Through the slot, comes off the near boards, and the whistle's going to go after the net's knocked off in the Canadian zone. 5:44 left in near first period. Face-off will be near side in the Canadian zone. Puck's dropped, shot below the Leafs. Sorry, the Canadians' goal. Shot comes off the outside of the net. Puck in the near corner. Sharkey centers that to Yamniak. Flips that to the far boards for Zahara. Leafs get a piece of it. Chop it back into the Canadian zone. Eagle to Morris. Centers that up to Zahara. Skating onto it is Yamniak, but it was just chopped off the stick by McQuestion. Yamniak gets a hold of it, dumps it into the Leaf zone. Leafs throw that out to the neutral zone. It rolls to the Canadian side, picked up by Ulrich. Ulrich fights off a check, centers that to Richard. Richard up the left wing, into the Leafs zone. Carries it down low, hangs onto it, battle for it in the near boards. Leafs. Anderson picks it up, throws it off the boards, held in at the right side by Turcotte. Below the net, the Leafs. Topolnitsky moves it up the ice. Center that to Smith. It rolls off Smith's stick though and stays or remains in the Leafs zone. Thorolson cuts the pass off on the far side. Flips it over to the near side for Ulrich. Ulrich moves that back to Turcotte, who takes that into the neutral zone to reset for the Canadians. Comes all the way back to his own zone now. Moves it up to Thorolson. Nice pass to Ulrich. Ulrich for, that was Sadagi. Sadagi chips that into the Leafs zone. The Leafs pick it up. Now they're rushing it up the ice. Handled by number 23, Anderson. Puck comes over to Smith. Smith puts that in front. Frostad knocks that down. He's going to flip that gently into the neutral zone where Anderson knocks it down for the Leafs. Cut off just outside of the lone. Frostad throws that to the open ice. Skating onto it is Taylor. Taylor comes in. There's a shot that is blocked. Loose puck goes behind the Leafs net. Picked up on the near side by number 15. And that is thrown down the ice. We have an icing call with 3:28 to go in the first period. Canadians out in front, 2-1. We'll have a face-off in their offensive zone on the near side of the ice. Frostad lining up. Rink D, he was the latest goal scorer for the Canadians. Puck comes right to him. He keeps it in the zone. Sends that down low for Taylor. Taylor chips that back, looking for Schufeld. Schufeld engages with number 8, Zinzilos. Shot from the point by Duffett, put on by the Canadians. Tipping it in front, I think that was Schufeld. Puck comes back to the point. Frostad knocks it down. He has to come into the neutral zone to reset for the Canadians. Gets it to Duffett, puts that deep into the Leaf zone. And Dollywall, slow to react to the delayed offside. Linesman blew it down. We'll have the face-off all the way down the ice in the Canadian zone. 2:56 left in the first period. Leafs win a zone or face-off in the offensive zone. They put it down below the net. Morris gets a hold of it, slides that to the open side. West picks it up. West eats that, puts it against the boards. Moved loose for Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson flips that into the neutral zone. West is going to skate onto it. 2-1 back the other way. Pass to Horn. It's off the skate of number 12, Toplnitsky. Puck put into the Canadian zone. Eagle picks it up. Gets it over to West. West looking for Thorvaldson. It goes between his legs and into the Leafs zone. Knocked out to center by Toplnitsky. Canadians put it back into the Leafs zone. Here's Hoare behind the net. Flips that to the outside. Thorvaldson to Eagle. Eagle walks the line. Flips one on net. Knocked down. Backhand shot on the rebound by Hoare. Goes wide into the near boards. Eagle has to come back to the Canadian zone to pick up the puck. Moves it up the ice. That's knocked down by Anderson. Hustles into the zone. Pass to the near side to Samsoniuk. Shot right onto Black. Steers that aside. Thorvaldson the rebound. Rims that around the board. Shot from the point. That hit a man. Goes wide. Eagle battling against Smith. Smith got it into the slot, but it goes off the near boards. And Hoare is going to rush that up the ice. Jacob Hoare makes a nice move to the left. Has some space. Glove save. Aladog rebound. Finally caught and covered up by the Leafs goaltender with 1:23 to go in the first period. Hoare with a dandy move just inside of the Leafs zone. Bounces over to his left side, opening up some space. It's just him and Grace Baladek. However, the Leafs goaltender getting the quick glove on that one and eventually covering it up. Face off far side in the Canadian zone, or in the Leaf zone. Canadians win it. Zahara put that back to the point for Ulrich. Ulrich moves that down into the corner. He's going to roll behind the net for Yamniak. Yamniak tries to center it. Puck comes back to him. He keeps control of the puck. Now he hands that off, looking for Sharkey. Puck chopped off. Rolls around the boards to Turcotte, who holds the zone. Moves that down to Sharkey. Puck knocked down by Turcotte at the line. Picked up in the far corner by Zinzelos. Zinzelos moves it up, but it's held in by Ulrich. Battle for it behind the Leafs goaltender. Now it comes up high. Sharkey with a shot that hit his stick, goes wide. Rolls into the near corner. Ulrich holds the zone on the near side again. Down low for Zahara. 30 seconds to go in the period as the puck comes out to the neutral zone. Ulrich hustles back, beats out the Leafs. Zivanov, and then moves it down the ice. It's going to end up being an icing call. And the Leafs, with a late period offensive zone face-off, have a chance to tie it. 15 seconds left on the time clock. Draw will be near side in the Canadian zone. Leafs drive it towards the net. Shot blocked by Frostad. 10 seconds to go still. Richard trying to eat that against the wall. 5 seconds to go. Richard just might do it for his team. And a great defensive posture by Richard. Holds the puck and he helps his team get to the end of the period where they will head into the dressing room with a 2-1 lead. Not a bad period by the Canadians. Little bit of mental mistakes, but I'm sure they'll clean that up at the break. Speaking of the break, we're going to let our sponsors have a word. We'll see you on the other side. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Callingwood. We're about to start the second period where the Canadians are up 2-1 on the Leafs. Puck's dropped, comes over to the Leafs on the right side, entering the zones. Number 10, Brinkman fires that in front for Smith. Shot knocked away. Centering pass. Actually, I think that was centering pass to the spot that just bounced past the far post. And the Canadians get that out to the neutral zone. Leafs take the puck, put it back into the Leafs side. Sorry, the Canadian side. Smith gets a hold of the puck. Canadians take away. Get that out to center. Sahara out for revenge as he got lit up on the last rush. Returns the favor to number 23, Carter Anderson. Anderson making his way to the bench after getting up gingerly. So, a boarding call being issued to the Canadian Sahara with 19:24 to go in the second period. Face-off will be near side in the Canadian zone. Puck's dropped. Leafs jumping on it. Broken up by Taylor. Gets a hold of it. Puts the puck down the ice. Leafs. Zinslows. Handles the puck. Gets it up to Zivanov. Zivanov lost the handle. Canadians take it. Dump it down the ice. Bonek sets that up for Zinzlaus. Pass goes to center and the Canadians take it, put it back into the Leaf zone. Zinzlaus. Sufelt on the forecheck slows up the advance of the Leafs, but finally Van Buren takes the puck. Now hands it back to Zinzlaus. Broken up by Richard. Richard flips that to the open side. Van Buren picks it back up for the Leafs. Sends that to Puta. Puta moving that up the ice. Coming up the left side. Sending pass. Turn Black with the save. Rebound. And the rebound slashed over to the far boards. Comes back to the point. There's a shot through everybody. Rolls up the near side. Stolen back by the Canadians. Here's Schufeld coming up the right side. Flips that wide of the mark. On the far side, Smith is going to pick that up for the Leafs. Rush that into the Canadian zone. Chips it down low. Rolls hard off the boards. Smith chips it free past the backside of the Canadians' goal. Arm of the official up. It looks like Turcotte may have taken a slash there. They have the Leafs penalty box open. And Mr. Hunter Smith being escorted to the sin bin. He's going to spend 2 minutes in there for slashing. Called with 17:40 left in the second period. One will play 17 seconds of 4-on-4 play. After which the Canadians will get their man back on the ice and be on the power play. Thorlson ready to take the face-off against Feng. Feng wins it for the Leafs. Puck moved over to the near side. Frostad pinches in. His centering pass knocked down. Still battle for it in that near corner. Still battling for it. Canadians now on the power play. Here's Sahara. On the side. Oh, Callingwood picks that top corner. And just puts it into the back of the net. Power play goal for the Canadians. Puts them up 3-1 with 17:10 to go in the second period. Dollywall coming off the bench. Forgotten about off that left wing. Zahara makes a nice pass over to him, and Dollywall does the rest. 3-1 Canadians. Ready to go at center. Leafs put it on the far boards. Chop towards the Canadian zone. That's broken up by Frostad. Throws that off the near boards. Chipped into the Leafs zone. And then put out a play by Koblynitsky. Draw will be near side in the Leafs zone with 16:55 left in the second period. Leafs win the draw. Koblynitsky puts that around the far side. That's cut off by Duffett. Moves the puck down to Sadagi. Yamniak tries to move it. Over to Richard. Moves that over to Yamniak. Yamniak's put against the boards, but able to move it to Richard again. Back to the point. By Duffett. Just wide. Frostad follows that up on the near side. Takes that down low. Oh, tried to shovel that back up the point, but that was knocked down by Samsonov. Koblynitsky picks that up for the Leafs. Back to the point, held in by Duffett. Koblynitsky gets another attempt at it and uses the boards to put that into the Canadian zone. Frostad with it. Moves that over to Duffett. Duffett kicks that back to Frostad. Frostad hits moving Thorvaldson coming up the right side. Hard stop. West fourth the follow-up. Picks up the rebound. Throws that in front. Thorvaldson tried to get the backhand off, but the net came off. Rink B, famous, at least in our circles, for the weak moorings on these nets. So with that, play stops with 15:56 left in the second period. Face off near side in the Leafs zone. Puck's dropped. Leafs win it. Penny puts that around the boards. Picked up by Van Weeren in the neutral zone. Handed off to Zivanov. He had trouble getting it into the zone. Coming back for it. I think it was Zinzalaus gets that deep into the Canadian zone. Canadians move that out to center, but it's knocked down by Zinzalaus. Moved up to Zivanov. Zivanov coming in, and that play broken up by the Canadians. West with it. Tried to hit a streak in Thorvaldson. He has to go to the far boards to pick up the puck. Dumps that deep into the Leafs zone. Penny picks it up. Puts it on the far side. Held in by Morris. Morris puts that down into the corner for Hoare. Spins off a check. Gets it to Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson drives behind the net. And then he's put in aggressively by Zinzalaus. Puck comes out to the neutral zone. Canadians now coming back into the Leafs zone. There's a shot by Hoare. That is wide of the near post. And the puck rolls back for Eagle in the neutral zone. Eagle moves up the near boards. Canadians having some trouble entering the zone. Now they do it successfully. Centering pass. That's going to bounce over to the near corner. Hoare moves that down low. He's chucked off the puck, and the Leafs move it to the far side. Zinzalaus is going to just put that all the way down the ice, and we'll have an icing call with 14:35 left in the second period. Canadians able to score twice on the power play, which is how much the lead is in the second period. They're up 3-1 with the draw on the far side in the Leafs zone. Leafs come away with it, moving it up the ice. The Smith gets to center and dumps that into the Canadian zone. Picked up by Ulrich. Ulrich outlets that to Sharkey. Sharkey gets it over to Zahara. Zahara sends that back to Ulrich. Then moves that up to Zahara. Moves that to Sharkey. Sharkey chops that out to the neutral zone. Now it comes into the Leafs zone. Popped in by Turcotte. Leafs gain control of it. And it's Chandra moved that out to the neutral zone. Canadians, Turcotte gets back into the zone, but a good forecheck by Brickman knocks the puck off his stick. Battle for it, far corner in the Canadian zone. Here's Zahara with it. He's going to flip that down the ice, put that up the near boards, and it rolls into the Leaf zone. Anderson picks it up. Looks for Smith, who dumps that into the Canadian zone. Canadians trying to move it. Stolen by the Leafs, put out in front. Turn, fired. Block with the blocker save. He puts that into the near corner. Team's battling for it in the Canadian zone. Comes out to the slot. Bang keeps that in for the Leafs. Comes out to the neutral zone. Queston couldn't quite catch up to it. Turcotte puts that up the near side. It'll end up being icing, and we got a stop and play with 13:08 to go in the second period. Draw will be near side in the Canadian zone. Canadians win it. Dollywall slides that is Frostad slides it behind the net. Duffin moves it up. Chop down. Here's Schufeld coming in. Schufeld takes that towards the net, and he's taken down on the play. The net comes off. The whistle goes, and into the penalty bay box will be McQuestion. Elliot McQuestion does what he needs to do to take Schufeld out of the play. But the downside of breaking that up is he'll spend 2 minutes in the penalty box for tripping, called with 12:56 left in the third period. And the Canadians will be back on the power play. I believe they're 2 for 3 in it. Leafs play in their own zone. Get the puck down the ice. Black moves it quickly over to Thorvaldsen. Thorvaldsen can't chop it out. Returned back in by Mitchell. There's a low shot, just wide. Looking to bury that was Suddenly. Canadians having a tough time getting across center right now. Leafs with some extra gusto on their penalty kill, putting pressure on the Canadians in their own zone. Finally get up the ice to Hoare, though. Hoare moves that up the nearest side. Missed the pass to Dollywall. Puck comes out to the neutral zone. Suddenly got a chance at it, but it's taken away by Frostad. Frostad quickly up the right side. Looking for a trailer. It's good. It's chipped in front. I think that was off the stick of Dollywall, or was it? Okay, they're going to give it to Zahara. I thought maybe Dollywall got a piece of it. Scott's going to come visit me at the intermission, I think, to find out who got that for sure. Another power play goal. That's 3 power play goals in the game for the Canadians. That part of their repertoire just humming tonight. It's 4-1 for the Canadians. Puck goes into the Leafs zone. Back to play. It is Chandra. Chandra's going to rush that up the ice himself. Comes over to the near side. Tries to go inside Eagle. Goes loose below the goal line. Centering pass. Comes back to the line. Held in by number 23. Fires one into traffic. And Black able to find that and put the glove on it with 11:37 to go in the second period. Face-off will be far side in the Canadian zone. Leafs doing a wholesale change here. Ready to take the draw will be Veenstra. Veenstra lining up against Richard. Veenstra wins it for the Leafs. There's a shot. That's blocked. Eagle knocks it down in front of the net. Moves it off the near boards. Comes to the point, but held in by number 11 into the slot. That's knocked down. Back to number 10. Shot hit a man. Goes just wide. And I think the net came off again because the whistle goes. And it looks like the near mooring probably came off the net there. Again, Callingwood, Arena B, famous for the weak moorings on the nets. We'll resume action on the far side in the Canadian zone with 11:23 to go in the second period. Leafs win the draw. Backhand shot, flips high, and Black comes out and gloves that down with 11:18 to go in the period. On the next draw, Leafs win it again. That's 3 straight in the zone. That shot hit a man, goes wide. point blank. That is off the boards. Picked up on the far side by number 12. Kept in the zone. That's Poplinski keeping the zone for the Leafs. Battle for it below the net. Goes out to the far side. Bohr chips that up the boards into the neutral zone. Poplinski turns that around, puts it back into the Canadian zone. Hoare is going to rush it out this time. Finds some space on the far side. Coming in the zone, he slows up. Looking for a trailer. Puts it deep for Thorolfsson. Trying to jam it in front. And that's come off again. They're going to let play keep going for a second. Behind it, Thorolfsson's trying to jam it on because his team has the puck in the zone. Turcotte from the point. Right on the Belladonna makes the save with 10:27 to go in the second period. Balanak having to fight through screens for much of the game. Able to peer around. Who was that in front? West in front on this one to make that save. Leafs pick up the puck on the near side. Samsoniuk tried to chip that out. Frostad keeps that in for the Canadians. Fang ends up with the loose puck. Quickly moves that over to number 8. Zinzlos, who stretches that down the ice. Canadians get it back in their own zone. Yamia at center. Goes to the far side to Sharkey. Zinzlos gets that off. Flipped out to the neutral zone. Frostad returns it back to the Leaf zone. Zinzlos over the near side. Skips past Penny. Here's Fang taking it up the near side. That's stopped by Frostad. Penny picks up the puck, puts it in the far side of the Canadian zone. Knocked down by Duffett. Duffett behind the net over to Frostad. Frostad with it. Hanging on. Looking for the pass. He's going to wheel it out. Now moves it to Yamiak. Yamiak centering pass. Trying to connect with Taylor. Taylor dumps that, chases it behind the Leafs net. Penny there first. Chips that to the far side to Smith. Smith upset by Dollywall. Moves that back to the point to Morris. Back Dollywall. Shot by Sharkey. Just missing on the near side. Eagle with the puck. He's going to fire that. Knocked down in front. Still available in the crease. Oh, and Sharkey puts that over the net. He had the open side as he outweighted the traffic and moved it to an open spot. Just couldn't hit it in front of the net. Arm of the officials up. Big battle behind the net. And into the box will be I think we're going to get a couple players here. Sharkey's one of them. And Smith will join him on the other side. So McLaren Sharkey for the Canadians. 2 minutes. I'm gonna guess roughing. I haven't seen the call of the officials yet. Smith looks like he's getting the harsher of the penalties, as it looks like they're gonna have the draw in the Leafs zone. No signal from the refs. So we're gonna give, here's 4 minutes to Smith, 2 minutes to Sharkey. See how this works out. So they put 4 minutes up on the board. Now they've rolled it down to 2. Okay. So 4-minute penalty being issued to the Leaf Smith. 2-minute penalty to the Canadians Sharkey. So net 2-minute penalty against the Leafs. And we're going to have the draw. It's flipped on us. So the draw now down in the Canadian zone. The Canadians took the extra 2 minutes. So it's Sharkey who got 4 minutes and Smith who got 2 minutes. net 2-minute penalty against the Canadians. Face-off will be near side in the Canadian zone. Leafs on the power play. One, two, three, four. Puck's dropped, battle for it on the near boards. Leafs keep it in the zone. Winslow's fires one, that is tipped wide by Brinkman. Leafs pick up the puck. Here's Brinkman in the near corner. Spills that up the near boards, comes back to the point to Zinzalo's. From the right side, knocked down in front, comes back to the point. Zinzalo's fires it right back into traffic. It hits a man, goes into the near boards. Van Weeren trying to dig it out for the Leafs. Gets the puck over to Brinkman. Out to the point for Zinzalo's. Zinzalo's fires it, and West makes a great block there. The rebound pops into the Leafs zone. 8 minutes to go in the second period. Leafs with 1:10 left in the man advantage as they have to go back to their own zone to reset. Gupta sends that over to Zinzalo's. Zinzalo's hanging on to it. Flips that right into number 3, Van Weeren. Then Richard hangs on to it for a second, then Zdanov is going to pick that up for the Leafs. Come into the Canadian zone. Offside, and the whistle goes with 7:33 to go in the second period. Puck will be dropped outside of the Canadian zone. Leafs 45 seconds left in the man advantage. Veenstra going to take this against Richard. And Richard wins it. Puck put back to Turcotte, who dumps that into the Leafs zone. Picked up behind the Leafs net by Anderson. Anderson's going to lead the charge now. 30 seconds to go in the power play. Pass the near side to Fang. Fang rushes that in the left side, hangs onto it. Moves it back to the point to Penny. Penny takes a shot into traffic. That's going to be cleared down the ice by Turcotte. 10 seconds to go in the Leafs power play. Balamak moves that to the near side. That's picked up by Schufelt. Schufelt looking for Richard. Just 2 inches off the mark. Canadians off their penalty. They're back to full strength. Smith and Sharkey still have to spend some extra time in the box. Should be coming out on the next whistle though. Puck chipped into the far corner of the Canadian zone. Ulrich there. Trying to seal it against the boards. Number 9, Mitchell, trying to loose it up for the Leafs. Comes loose for Zahara. Outlets that to Yamniak. Nice chip up the ice. Turcotte almost skates onto it. Puck chipped into the Leafs zone. Weston. Far side centering pass up to Sundil. Put into the Leafs or the Canadian zone where Turcotte gets it, moves it to, sorry, that was Ulrich to Turcotte. Turcotte tries to rush it up and whiffs on the pass, and the Leafs put that into the far corner. Chipped up the ice, and Sadagi dumps it into the Leafs zone. He was just a few feet short of the center line, so icing called here with 5:45 to go in the second period. Face off far side in the Canadian zone. Sunlee and Thorvaldsen squaring off. Thorvaldsen gets the best of that. Hoare takes it up the ice, right side to West. Drop pass to Hoare. Hoare takes it behind the net. Circles to the far side. Hangs onto it. Now moves it over to Thorvaldsen. Thorvaldsen back to the point. Eagle waiting for it. Eagle fires that into traffic. Hits a man. Leafs going to clear that out. Samsonov moves that. He's trying to connect with Moss. Broken up by the Canadians. Leafs get it back in their own zone. Send it up. Semstad. Battle for it on the far boards in front of the Canadian zone. Picked up by Hoare. He dumps that into the Leaf zone. Zempnia move that to the far side to Toplinsky. Toplinsky is going to put that into the Canadian zone. And icing waved off. Eagle picks it up, cycles behind his own net, tries to stretch that, looking for Dollywell. That's broken up by Penny of the Leafs. But put back into the Canadian zone. Eagle over to Morris. Morris goes to the far side to Eagle. Eagle's pass broken up by Fang. Eagle holds the line though. Leafs try again at center. Now they come to the near side. Zinzalo takes a shot. That hits Schufelt. Broken up. Up 7 minutes slide. And cleared away to the far boards by Dollywell. Leafs get it back though. Centering pass. That's off the skates. Going to roll to the near boards. Sent down low by Penny. Canadians get it back. Here come the Canadians stretching that down the ice. Chipped in by Dollywell. Penny's going to get there first for the Leafs. Sends that to the far side. Thrown down the ice by Veenstra. Frostad's going to pick that back up in the Canadian zone. Moves that up to Schufelt, chips that up the ice. Taken away by the Leafs. Rushing up the right side, Brinkman coming in. Drops that, looking for Mitchell. Mitchell picks it up, takes it into the corner. Over to Brinkman, centering pass, broken up by Black, who gets the stick on it, pokes it up the ice for West. West coming up the left side. Zinzalo cuts that off. Centering pass, looking for Staggy, broken up. Puck comes down low. Staggy's going to pick that up, throws it to the outside, and Duffett's stick was lifted by Brinkman. Coming up the right side, Black with the save, comes up on the near boards. Rolls into the neutral zone. Staggy leaves the puck for West. West back to Richard. Richard hangs onto it, moves up the near boards. Leaves get it to the line, but not out. Frostad turns, fires it on net. And Grace Malinak makes a great glove save for the Leafs there, hanging on with 2:51 left in the second period. Second period. Draw will be near side in the Leaf zone. 2:51 to play in the second. Zahara against Sunday. It's scrambled. Comes back to the line. Canadians keep it in the zone. Anderson for the Leafs. Moves that up the outside. Comes into the neutral zone. Yamiak picks up the loose puck. Gets it over to Sharkey. Sharkey sends it back to Turcotte to reset. Over to Yamiak. Now Sharkey. Sharkey coming into the zone. Hangs on. Waits for his teammates to tag up. Dumps it in. Still delayed offside indicated as Savanoff moves that up the ice. Stolen by Sharkey. Sharkey coming into the zone. That shot blocked by Chandra. The Canadians with it. Put it back to the point. Turcotte fires that just wide. Balinock didn't see that. Lucky it was just off the mark. Leafs get it back behind their own net. Moss tries to move that. That's stolen by the Canadians. That shot with his stick and just wide of the net. Yamia keeps it in on the near side. Moves that down to Sharkey. Moss steps in for the Leafs. Takes it into the corner. Put loose for the Leafs. Anderson gets that into the neutral zone. We're going to have a penalty against Sahara. Second time he's going to be in the box this game. This will put the Leafs on the power play. Not that team. Oh. Don't this team. There we go. Oh, a 4-minute head contact penalty issued to Damon Zahara, or Devin's brother, with 1:36 to go in the second period. Face off near side in the Canadian zone. Leafs win the draw. Go back to the point. Zinzalo, near side. Cross-ice pass. There's a one-timer that doesn't connect. Leafs keep it in the zone. Fired on net. That hit a body. Goes over to the near boards. Zinzalo Sends that down low. He's throwing a shot. That's off the iron. Stays out. Put down low for Brinkman. Brinkman centers that. That's broken up by the Canadians, but they can't get it out. Sinsalo with it. Taking a look. Fires that to traffic. Black got the blocker on that. Picked up on the end boards by the Leafs. We're under a minute to go in the second period. Winstrow with the shot. That's blocked in front. Leafs keep it in. Sinsalo takes a shot. Fired. Black with the pad save. Eagle ties up his man. Puck comes back to Winstrow, and the net has come off. Once again, Canadians probably needed that stop. They were getting run around in their own zone with the Leafs on the power play. Both teams making changes here. We'll have a face-off far side of the Canadian zone. 42 seconds to go in the second period. Leafs on the power play for another 3 minutes and 4 seconds. Canadians get the puck down the ice. Picked up by Anderson. 25 seconds to go in the period. Anderson breaks out from behind his own near side for Bang. Hangs onto it. Pass to the right side. Mitchell gets that into the zone. Leafs have that on the near corner. Fang with it. Tries the net. Put out in front. And that is just wide. Fed back to the point. High shot by Penny. Was picked up by the Canadians. So it's going to be a pass, but the buzzer goes. They'll separate the bodies. And the Canadians with a great second period here. And put 2 more on the board. But more importantly, blank the Leafs. So the Canadians will head into the dressing room with a 4-1 lead. When we return for the third period, the Leafs will be on the power play with 2:24 left in the Canadians' penalty. We'll take a break here, let our sponsors have a word, and we'll be back for the third period. Friday night hockey in Callingwood. Oh, yeah, told you I called it. Here comes El Managerino. And I have work to do in the break. We'll see you on the other side. Thanks, Greg. Thank you, Zaharas. Yes, I had my mic on mute. Face or puck's far side in the Leaf zone. Down low, here's West. Puts it back to the point for Ulrich. Ulrich turns, fires, that hits the stick. Kavin's jaw pops into the glove of Baladag, who will hang on with 13:56 left in the third period. Face off near side in the Leaf zone. Early movement, we're going to redo that draw. Puck put to the far corner, Leafs pick it up. Send that to the far side, try to center that. Main student, West sends that down low. Taking that into the corner, there's Turcotte. Richard holds the line for the Canadians, puts it up the boards. Now Richard taking his turn against the boards. Turcotte takes the spot at the point. Knocked down by the Leafs in their own zone. They're going to rush it up the ice. Coming up the near side was number 10. Brinkman lost the puck to the Canadians. Leafs get it back at center, dump it into the far side. Richard back to play it for the Canadians. Held in. There's a chance for the Leafs. Misa with a shot. Black with the save. Misa trying to hang on to that too long. And coming in to break up the play was Sedagny. And a quick shot from the point right on to Black, who makes the save and hangs on with 12:49 left in the third period. Draw will be far side in the Canadian zone. Sunlee matching up against Taylor. Sunlee wins that for the Leafs. Quick shot through traffic, but Black able to pick that up and hangs on with 12:45 to go in the third period. Sunlee wins another one for the Leafs. It's back to the point. Ripped around the boards by Penny. On the near side, Morris takes that into the boards. Foot towards the net, knocked down by Eagle. Eagle hard off the glass. Was looking for Schufelt, maybe Dollywall, but he didn't get the bounce he wanted. And it ends up being an icing call with 12:29 to go in the third period. Battle for it, far side in the Canadian zone. Leafs shot, that's blocked in front. Held in. Morris, though, chips it up the boards. That's knocked down at the line by Van Weeren. Eagle with it. Moves it back against the green, reverses it to Morris. Morris up to Dollywall, and that connection just off the mark. Ends up being an icing call with 12:01 to go in the third period. Face off near side in the Canadian zone. Battle for it on the near boards. Chopped back to the line. Anderson has to come out to the neutral zone. Knocked down with a... Oh, we're going to have an interference penalty here. Issued to Mr. Mitchell of the Leafs. And that's going to put the Canadians on the power play with 11:56 left in the third period. already up 3 goals. And 3 goals is how many power play goals they've put in the net this game. Dangerous looking power play, and the Leafs put another in the box. Canadians win the face-off in the offensive zone. Frostad, far side for Hoare. Hoare hanging on to it, back against the grain. Robinson in front for Zahara, puck shot. Balalag got a piece of that, and the Leafs are going to throw the puck down the ice, clear in the zone. Frostad with it, up the ice quickly for Thorvaldson. Oh, gifted that right in the middle, coming back. There's a shot wide of the mark by the Leafs. Samsniak. Thorvaldson trying to drive that in. Puck taken away from him and put back into the Canadian zone. Frostad sets that up for United Sport and Cycle. Moves behind his own net. Far side for Hoare. Hoare lost it in the skates. Frostad follows it up, comes in with speed up the right side. Drop that back, look for Dollywall, he hangs onto it. Frostad puts that off the ref. Ref takes a tumble. Dollywall tries to move the puck over to the near side. Thorvaldson in front, and that's broken up by the Leafs. Hoare jumps on it. That's off the post and ripped outside. Held into the line by Zahara. Zahara hanging onto it. Flips that into traffic. Taken down low. And the ref's arm is up. Pointed. Looks like he's pointing at Samsniak. And we'll have a penalty issue to the Leafs with 10:33 left in the third period. Canadians, a 5-on-3 advantage for the next 38 seconds unless they score. Face off far side in the Leafs zone. Canadians win it at the point. Eagle with it. Goes to the right side to Yamniak. Over to Eagle. Eagle fires that to traffic. Kicked away by Balanog. Here's Yamniak. Back to Eagle. Left side. Fired by West. Looking for that top corner. Comes off the glass to Yamniak. Back to Eagle. Yamniak with a one-timer. Missing the far post this time. Yamniak holds it in. 10 seconds to go in the 2-man advantage. Down low for Taylor. Cycles that off the boards. Back to the point for Eagle over to Yamniak. Yamniak hanging on. Stick going by Black. Balanog got a piece of that. Goes over to the near boards. 1 man back on for the Leafs. And they clear the puck down the ice. Eagle setting up behind the Canadiens' net. 1:06 to go in the power play. Eagle, near side for Zahara. Center is that for Frostad. Frostad gets across center, gets that up to Hoare. Hoare tracked down by Feng. Feng flips that to the far boards. Rolls into the Canadian zone. Blackout to set it up for Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson, far side for Hoare. That pass missed. Penny picks it up for the Leafs. Throws that up the middle. Frostad knocks that down. Comes up the right side into the Leaf zone. Waiting for a trailer. Thorvaldson back to Frostad. Frostad. Shake it off the check. Near side for Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson in front. Looking back door for Hoare to step into. Skips off the boards. And the Leafs chip that out to the neutral zone on the stick of Smith. Frostad back in his own zone. 10 seconds to go in the power play. Pass to the far side to Hoare. Hoare comes into the zone, benches over to the left side. Back to Zahara, up to Thorvaldson. His shot over off the mark. Leafs get the man back on the ice. Fighting towards Balanog, still fighting for it. Puck comes loose, goes to the far corner. Centering pass broken up by Hoare. Hoare steps into the slot, there's a shot, and rips that past the glove side of Balanog. And it's a 5-1 lead for the Canadians. Jacob Hoare able to keep it in the zone, steps into the slot, and rifles that snapshot past the Leafs goaltender to take a 4-goal lead with 8:16 to go in the third period. Special shout out to Enzo Anders. He's sitting on the bench as the backup goalie for the Leafs tonight. Oh! What a rip from Aiden Sidagny. Fires that just past the Leafs goaltender. Caught him. Maybe surprised her. And the Canadians add another one to the tally. I'll go back to my shout out to Enzo Anders. Call up from the U15 AA team. Oh, Enzo's in the game now. I just mentioned his name. Now he gets to play. This is exciting for myself and his dad. What I'm trying to say is I call Enzo's game because he plays on our younger son's team. So I'm quite tickled to see him in the game. Unfortunately for Ballinock being pulled, as the Canadians are dominating, they just start ramming it up in the second period and even put more pressure on in the third, which is why they're up 6-1 with 8 minutes to go in the game. Face off in the Canadian zone. One Leafs keep it in. Trying to center that. That's broken up. Sends it to the far side. There's a shot. Makes a great save there. Gets the glove out in front and hangs on with 7:34 to go in the third period. Draw will be near side in the Leafs zone. Here comes the Leafs into the Canadian zone. Chopped off the puck. Behind the net. Canadians control the puck. Oh, there's one that just popped over the pad and underneath the glove of the Leafs goaltender. And the Canadians extend their lead with 6:49 to go in the third period. Puck on the far boards in the Canadian zone. Canadians chop it out. Schufelt centering past Duffett. Duffett coming up the near side. Right side looking for Schufelt. Play cut short on the offside. 6:28 left in the third period. Canadians out in front of the Leafs 7-1. Face off near side. Just outside of the Leafs zone. Leafs win the draw. Take it into their own zone. Put up the far side. That's cut up by Schufelt. Dollywall picks up the Leafs puck. Turned over again. Here come the Leafs into the zone. Bang. Just over. Sorry, that was Sebsniak ripping that just over the Canadian net. Duffett picks it up for the Canadians. Schufelt on the right side. Comes across and into the Leafs zone. Carrying that down low. Chopped into the far corner. Dollywall loosens that up. Picks up the loose puck. Pass for Taylor. Taylor sharp. Wide of the mark. Just missing that near post. Duffett activates, takes it into the corner. Picked up by the Leafs suddenly. Puck still battle for shot by Taylor. Andrew Smith to save. Taylor another chance. Andrew Smith a great save, stretching that pad. And the Leafs clear the zone. Duffett picks up the puck. Sends that down the ice. Waiting for it was Frostad. Frostad waiting for the trailer. Steps into the slot. Puck chopped off his stick. Veenstra picks it up for the Leafs. Throws it up the middle. Morris cuts that off. Veenstra gets it back for the Leafs. 5:10 to go in the third period. Leafs take the puck, dump it into the Canadian zone. Frostad flips that to the nearest side. Activated is Toblinski. Toblinski puts that into the corner where the Canadians get it back. Dollywall with it. Flips that up the ice. That's knocked down at center by Toblinski and put back into the Canadian zone. Morris with it. Far side for Frostad. Over to Morris. Morris behind his own net. Up to Thorvaldson. Thorvaldson. Nice pass to West. West touch pass to Hoare. Hoare coming up the near side. Back to West. No shot. And they split the save. Hoare in the corner. Swept her over to the far boards. West cuts that off for the Canadians. Matched by the Leafs. Still battling for it. Comes back to the point. Morris holds it in, fires it towards net, hit traffic in front. Followed up by West. Couldn't swipe that towards the net. Eagle holds that in at the right point. Moved it down low. Puck comes loose behind the Leafs net. Moved over by Toblinski. Held in on the near side by Morris of the Canadians. And the Leafs going to get a hold of it. Sending that down the ice. Taking an icing call, but relieving the pressure with 3:43 left in the third period. Give a quick shout out to the other team. I shared the link with the MLAC Scuff and Works team, where Enzo plays in regular season games. Hello to all our fans on Easton's team. Canadians move the puck up the ice. On the right side, Yamniak carries that into the zone, tries to get around Penny. Puck directed into the end boards. Cut loose. Here's Sharkey. Could get the shot off. Bounces back to the point. Ballrick with it. Moves that down low for Zahari. Shovels that behind the net. Picked up by the Leafs. Use the glass to put that out to the neutral zone. Turcotte turns that around. Sharkey picks up the loose puck. Rushing it back into the Leafs zone. That shot hit his stick. Comes off the end board. Sharkey follows it up. That shot over the net. Stays in on the glass. 2:53 to go in the third period. Puck in the Leafs zone. Sharkey, another one that hit a man. And that bounces over the near boards. Richard picks that up. Leafs get it back. Centering pass. That connects. And getting across center is Kupta. Puts that into the Canadian zone. Leafs jump on it in the offensive zone. Back to the point. Oh, that just hit his stick, just goes wide. Comes off the outside of the net. Cleared away by the Canadians. Comes back to the point. Held in by Zinzelos. Fired from the far side by Penny. That goes over to the near corner. Zinzelos activates from the point. Carries the puck down low. Put out in front. Couldn't get it to Fang. Zinzelos back in front. That's broken out by Sharkey. Sharkey. Puck broken up. The play broken up by Turcotte. Looks like we're going to get some chippiness go on late in the third period. Arm of the official is up. Into the box. Looks like it's Van off. And they're going to put Sharkey in two. And this will not change the amount of personnel on the ice. But that will do it for those two players. We're under 2 minutes. They'll have to spend the rest of the game in the sin bin. Draw one by the Leafs. They put the puck into the Canadian zone on the far side. Frostad picks it up. Far side for West. West chips it up the boards. Held in by the Leafs. There's fire from the point. Right on to Black. And Bauer Black hangs on with 1:43 left in the third period. Face-off will be far side in the Canadian zone. Put out to the neutral zone. The Canadians coming into the Leafs zone now. Shot directed toward the net. That's put to the far boards by Chandler. Here comes the Leafs into the zone. Veenstra lost the handle. Puck goes below the Canadians' goal line. Picked up by Frostad. Frostad flips that to the far side. Richard off the glass. Knocked down at the point by Chandra, but the Canadians are going to come away with it. Leafs pick that up in their own zone. Dump to the far corner. Frostad over to Duffett. Duffett up the ice. Connects with Sedagny. Sedagny looking for Taylor. Taylor had the puck taken away by Anderson. Anderson for the Leafs. Goes into his own zone. Looking for Van Weer, and that skips past him. Picked up by Sedagny. Sedagny gets in the zone. Taylor off the boards. Looking for Schufeld. Schufeld picks it up. Morris fires that, and that is just past the Leafs goaltender. Morris in the trail. Fires that home, and the Canadians add one late in the third period. They go up 8-1 with 33 seconds to go in the game. Here we go at center. Canadians win the draw. Morris up to Dollywall. Dollywall gets that into the Leafs zone. Leafs get that back out to center. Eagle with it. Near side for Morris. That was almost cut off by Van Weer. Morris takes that into the zone. Centering pass that goes through the slot. Rolls up the boards to Eagle. The Eagle takes it into the neutral zone. Keeps control of the puck though and dumps it into the Leafs zone. Leafs come out with it. And the buzzer goes. And the Canadians improve the record to 16-9. And they prepare for one more game tomorrow night before they head off to Austin. So tomorrow night's game will be in Fort Saskatchewan at the Dow Center. I believe at, let's see here. It's an evening game, I know that, because I'm going to be in Lloyd with MLAC Lenbeth. So it is a 7:45 start tomorrow. Greg's gonna give the old huddle camera a try to stream it, so we'll see what happens, folks. And I apologize, I'm gonna be with the younger son in Lloydminster. Great game by the Canadians tonight. They take this one away from the Leafs 8-1. Back on the ice tomorrow night from Fort Saskatchewan at 7:45. Working the camera was Greg Eagle. Visiting was Peter Anders. My name's Curtis Bykowski. It's been a pleasure, folks. We will see you, well, for myself, next time you hear from me will be in Austin, Texas. Take care, folks. Hope you have a great night.